The rod was the main weapon of defense for a shepherd. That when predators or thieves or robbers would attack, he would literally beat them away with the rod. It was a symbol of his authority, his power, his strength. In fact, in this culture that this was written in, the right hand was considered the hand of power and authority. So literally, the shepherd's rod was considered an extension of his powerful, victorious right hand. Some of you know where I'm going already. This makes other verses like Isaiah 41:10 even more amazing than they already are. Isaiah 41:10 is probably my favorite verse. It says this, "Don't be afraid, for I'm with you." There's the presence of God. "Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand." That the rod in the right hand of the shepherd, it was a symbol of his authority, his strength, his power, his victory over every situation for those sheep. And the rod in the right hand of our shepherd is a symbol of his authority, his power, his strength, his victory over every situation in your life. Not always to change it, most often to see you through, giving you the power to see you through. That Jesus doesn't guard me from all pain and problems. He guards me from their power over me. So what does he do to guard me? He gives me his presence. He gives me his power. And the last one is this. He gives me his peace. Gives me his peace. Your rod and staff protect and comfort me, Psalm 23:4 says. Protect and comfort me. So that means it calms my spirit. It centers my soul. It gives me peace. The most powerful part about the rod that I learned was not its power. It was actually its comfort. That the rod was not just a weapon. The rod was used to welcome sheep and comfort them as well. That a good shepherd always knew how many sheep he had and which sheep were his. We talked about this a little bit on Easter Sunday. That when he gathered them in the pen at night, when he gathered them in the field at night, he would count them to make sure they were all there. And so the way he counted was the sheep would pass under his rod. He would count them, making sure he had all of his sheep and that all the sheep were his. But he did something else with the rod that blew me away. That because a sheep's wool is so thick and so long, it was hard for a shepherd to see just by looking at the sheep if it needed to be cleaned or not, if it was unclean or clean. It was hard to see down to the skin to know if there was diseases or wounds or sores or scars. So as the shepherd was counting them, the sheep would come under the rod. He would press the rod down on the wool. The wool would then open up as it walked through. And if a sheep needed to be cleaned, he'd clean it. If a wound needed mended, he would mend it. If a sore or a scar needed soothed, he would soothe it. So the rod of the shepherd was not just meant to beat sheep enemies away. It was meant to bind up the broken, to clean the unclean, to mend the wounded, to soothe the sores and scars of the sheep. Maybe even the same sores and scars and wounds those sheep received while they were faithfully following their shepherd through the valley of the shadow of death. Come on. That Jesus, your guiding shepherd, when you walk through the darkest valley, not only is he a shepherd that's with you, not only does his rod and staff protect you, but he is there with you with rod to restore you as well. To clean you up when you're dirty, to mend you when you're broken, to soothe your sores and scars. That Jesus doesn't guard me from all pain and problems. He guards me from their presence over me, that he's with me as I walk through them. Listen, he's with me as I recover from them. He gives me his presence. He gives me his power. He gives me his peace.